Hello people, and welcome back to this channel. It has been almost an entire year since my last video, and that is because... what is it because of? Laziness? Work? General life? All of the above? All of the above. There is technically another video in the works. I am making a December vlog. That will be the title. So much for my original plan this year of having one vlog per month that obviously died immediately. Anyway, today, the reason for this video, as you can see from the title, it is basically 1 year since my last video. Like literally a year since the last video I uploaded on this exact topic. And that last video was 1 year post cyst removal. What the hell is it called? It's a cystology, I think. Something like that. Okay, but anyway. So as you can see by the title, we've had the sequel! So, people know. I mean, enough people in my life know. My students know. I had to go for another operation. Actually, basically about a month ago now, to get yet another cyst removed. So, I guess part of the point of this video is to tell this story of cyst round 2. And also, I guess, compare both of the cyst removal procedures and experiences, because they have been pretty different, I will say. So I guess to start with, how did I find this one? Right, considering the previous one was found by way of me trying to deflate. Technically, this one was also found by way of me trying to deflate again. I don't know how I didn't see this coming, but I didn't. So here's the deal. After the previous surgery, I was, as you should be, expected to go for follow-ups with the gynae. I didn't really talk about this part in last year's video, I don't think, considering I just rewatched the entirety of last year's video to remember what the hell I said. But yeah, so, you know, naturally you go for follow-ups. And because last year was the year of the Rona, I didn't really go that much. I think I went for one follow-up. Ultimately, like, once COVID actually hit, because obviously I went, I had gone for the initial follow-ups, like, right after the surgery, and I think hang on. And I think I went for one, like, right before coronavirus hit, like, everything, right? And so I was supposed to go at another point in, I don't know, June, somewhere there, but I didn't go because we thought like, oh no, so many COVID cases, don't go to a hospital, bad idea. So okay, didn't go. Then we went later on. I might actually be getting this story a bit mixed up, but the gist is there. Okay, but so when I did go, the doctor did do an ultrasound, and at the time he was a bit worried. I don't know, is worried the correct word? I'm not sure. But there was a tiny cause for concern because, so I have just the one ovary, right? I have the left ovary, and so in the scan, my left ovary was looking kind of enlarged. Now, we didn't know if this enlargement was just because I was about to be perioding, or could it be a problem? So obviously we couldn't tell because of that, and so I was supposed to go back. I don't know, the next month, a couple months later, I can't remember. Okay, but again, as I was saying, because of the Rona, and because we so foolishly thought that the numbers last year was the height of everything, we didn't go. I didn't go. I don't know why we say we. I didn't go. Okay, and so we left that. That is where last year's video, that's where we meet last year's video. Okay? That's what I left out of last year's video. So, come this year, at I guess some point in October, I start getting really, 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 really full of air again. Like, I start burping like I'm possessed by some air demon. Like, I am not even kidding. And my parents were sick of it. I mean, it's not, to be fair, it wasn't just my parents that were sick of it. There was one day where I was on MC from work simply because I could not sleep the entire night because of how uncomfortable my just entire abdomen was. I could not sleep. It was so uncomfortable. I tried sleeping on my stomach just to, like, I don't know, force some air out of me, on my back, on my side. Nope, nothing. So that day I went to the normal GP that I go to when I'm not feeling well. She gave me, I can't remember what she gave me something. Didn't really do anything. My mother was still, you know, hello, can you go and see a specialist? We should probably go and see a specialist. So we were wondering, okay, then this is where I start thinking, oh boy, shit. Could this be another cyst-ish problem? I don't know. Maybe not. Okay, but my mother does remember that, oh right, I was supposed to go see the gynae, which we put off for basically an entire year at this point, right? So while I am at work on a Thursday, she tries calling my gynae who did my previous operation, only to find out that he's retired. I mean, it's about time. He old as heck. Okay, so we're like, okay, scratch that plan. We're not seeing the gynae. I guess we're just going to see a gastro now because, I mean, I'm bloated, I'm burping. You know, general first thought is go see a gastroenterologist. Okay, fine. So Friday, I go see the gastro. Am I off of work that day? I don't... No. I take like half a day off. I go see the gastro and he's like, okay, you need to do a scope. Great. You can do a scope tomorrow. Oh, that's fast. So I go in the next day on a Saturday, go get to the hospital, have to do a COVID test in the morning because I have to get admitted. Do the COVID test, get admitted, and while I'm waiting to do the scope, the nurse is like, oh yeah, you need to do an ultrasound as well. I'm like, okay, fine, sure, whatever. So I get changed, I'm supposed to go down to do a scope. I wait down there in a friggin' cold ass room on the bed, and then they're like, oh, you need to go do the ultrasound first. Oh, fine, I have to get up now. So I go down, go to the ultrasound room, wait a bit, really feel like I need to pee. The nurse over there tells me you need to drink water. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I already want to pee. But I drink water anyway, because they make you drink water in case you didn't know. For an ultrasound, you gotta have a full ass bladder. It's really annoying. Especially when they do the ultrasound and they start pushing down on you and you're just pushing on your bladder and you already want to pee. But I digress. So I go do the ultrasound, and I'm lying there and ultrasound tech is like, have you done an ultrasound before? And I'm like, oh boy, here we go! So I tell her, yes, I've done ultrasounds before, I've had a cyst removed 2 years ago, and she's like, oh, there's another one. I'm like, great. So I'm like, okay, sure, fine, there's a cyst. The ultrasound says that it's about 5 cm. So thankfully, about half the size of the old one. So that's done. I'm just put it on my head first because I still haven't even done this damn scope. Okay, so I go to do the scope. It's the first time I get sedated with the gas. All that say is, the result of the scope was that, nope, nothing wrong. So after that, the doctor comes see me and he's like, so yeah, the ultrasound shows that you have a cyst. Do you want to make an appointment with the gynae? I'm like, well, my gynae retired. So he just referred me to the guy, one of the gynaes in the hospital, made the appointment, went to go see the dude. Basically, he was like, yeah, you have to get rid of it. We're not even gonna talk further about like letting it shrink or anything, because if you're already feeling like something's pressing on your bladder, it's time to get rid of it. So he gave us like 2 weeks to think about things, and even to this day I'm not even sure what the hell we were supposed to be thinking about, because if we already knew we needed to get rid of it, I don't know what the hell we were supposed to think about. So I was supposed to go and see him again 2 weeks later, but I actually started getting really uncomfortable after that. Like it started, the discomfort in me started increasing. It was a discomfort that I didn't feel the previous time. So we actually pushed the appointment to see the gynae up to actually schedule the surgery. Because this time round, I don't remember if I was feeling this the first time, but I don't think I was. But this time around, I actually started feeling quite lightheaded occasionally, like even while sitting down. Just very randomly, I would feel like my head was spinning. And I was like, this is probably because of the cyst, right? Like, we had scheduled the appointment and we had gone to Ipoh for a holiday because, well, no holidays post-op for me. And while we were there, while we were walking one day, like my parents and I just had to stop and just hold on. Thank God we were like on the sidewalk. I could just hold on to a dirty wall, but still. Because I just suddenly had this wave of, is it nausea? I don't know. I didn't want to throw up. I just felt like I was gonna faint. And so I had to stop for a while. So I was like, okay, great. Thank God we pushed the appointment up. Because we were wondering if I should just wait until the complete end of the school year to do it, which would mean that I'll be on MC at the beginning of the school year next year, or just, you know, since it already is the end of the year, just push it earlier and just, you know, take the last few days of school off in the hospital, obviously. And ultimately we went with that, and I guess it's a good thing, because this time round, okay, so here's where some more differences come in between the previous surgery and this surgery. So the last one, I was on GA, general anesthesia, and I talked about, you know, well, yeah, because I just rewatched the video. I talked about how when I woke up, I was still kind of woozy, immediately fell back asleep and all of that stuff. And this time, I was not on GA. Heck, I am still possessed by an air demon. Anyway, this time I wasn't on GA. The anesthesiologist gave me an epidural, which is brand new information, or which was brand new information to me, because I basically only ever thought of epidurals in the context of giving birth. But no, like when he was explaining the whole epidural thing to me, I was kind of just freaking out, because I was like, oh my gosh, why am I getting an epidural? You're gonna stab something in my back. Why can't I just be stabbed in the back of my hand and just pass the hell out? So he explained that he would rather give me the epidural, one, because they didn't want to put people under GA in the COVID times, and it had something to do with like putting people on oxygen, if I remember correctly. Can't really remember correctly, because again, like I said, I was kind of just freaking out about the idea of the epidural. But there was that, and also for the reason that apparently studies say that recovery time with an epidural is actually faster than with GA. And I guess technically that was true, because I actually was feeling a lot, I mean, I won't say I was feeling a lot better, but I was actually feeling quite okay very quickly. For comparison's sake, the previous time I was in hospital for 5 days, and this time I was in the hospital for 3. I mean, part of the reason why I was in the hospital for so long the previous time was because they would not let me out until I could actually eat solid food. But for me to be able to eat solid food, I needed to fart. And for some reason, okay, this entire video is TMI, okay, but yeah. I don't think I talked about this in the previous video. But yeah, so like the last time, for whatever reason, it took me a while to actually fart. So I was actually just on like a liquid diet for a couple of days, and that was why it took so long to get me out of the hospital. But this time around, like, we had zero issues with that. I was farting like immediately. I was on solid, well, not so solid, I was almost on solid food because they had initially given me rice for dinner on the day of the surgery, after the surgery. But I did actually ask for porridge after that. So yeah, with the epidural, because an epidural is just an epidural, it's technically just a painkiller, I guess, essentially. I also was sedated, so again, because it was sedation and it wasn't GA, I was awake and alert a lot faster than the previous time, which is something my mother said. She said that when she came back to the hospital after my surgery, I was looking a lot more alive and like I wasn't as pale as the previous time. So I guess there we go. Now we know. It's kind of interesting now that I think about it. Like, technically with the epidural, I had a tube in my back, and like just lying down, I didn't actually feel the tube in my back. Huh. Interesting. So because I had the epidural, unlike the previous time where I had the magic morphine button, this time I was still just hooked up to like the whatever epidural thingy. Like there was a machine and tubes that went into my back, obviously, which just dispensed the epidural thingy-majiggy at a rate of like 8 milliliters per hour, and I only know this because I saw it on the screen of the thingy. And so I had the epidural thingy for the night and up to some point in the next morning, which is when I had 2 tubes of the epidural thingy, so until it ran out. I feel like this time, like, so the previous time there was actually pain that I would want to press the morphine button for, and I think this time was mainly really only discomfort, and I don't know if that was really because of the epidural. But yeah, that was the case. Things that were similar. I didn't shower at all when I was in the hospital again. Oh, actually, so the previous time, my wound actually had a dressing that I had to that I had to subsequently go back to the doctor to get it off, get it removed, get the stitches taken out. And this time, I have no stitches to take out. Okay, I mean, obviously I'm not a medical professional, hello. I'm an English teacher. So I have like zero knowledge about this. Obviously there are internal stitches. But did I have external stitches this time just with like a dissolving thread? I don't actually know. So what the doctor did, because basically it is the same kind of cyst. It was another dermoid cyst. This time around I had one big lump, which was still thankfully not as big as the previous lump. This lump was about 6 centimeters, and a couple small lumps. I'm just now realizing that this video is like all over the place because this is my train of thought, and I will probably have to fix this in editing. So this time around, it was an open surgery again. Initially, the doctor had actually said that it was possible to do it laparoscopically, but talking it over with my mother and the doctor, we decided to do open surgery simply because it is technically safer in terms of like spillage. And I guess now looking back, thank God we had that decision, because remember how I said that I was feeling, I would feel faint and stuff? Yeah, I think this is probably why, and it is because when the doctor cut me open, which is a strange thing to say as usual, he actually cut basically at the exact same place where the wound from my previous surgery was, which I guess is basically how C-sections work when you have another baby. So it's like I got rid of another premature baby that's not a baby. But anyway, when he cut it open, there was just liquid that came out like a fountain. But the cyst itself had not ruptured. So like, I don't know, man. Maybe the cyst was bigger, maybe this just seeped out. We have no idea. We don't know. Because technically, like I said, the cyst itself was not ruptured. There wasn't like a hole or whatever. But I apparently had 500 milliliters of liquid just in the abdomen, hanging out. So thank God for the call of having open surgery. And like, see, after the surgery, I weighed myself. And I told my dad, I was like, hey, you know what? I lost like 1.5 kg. It's like, no lah, you didn't. It's just normal weight fluctuation. I'm like, no, my weight fluctuation is not 1.5 kg, okay, please? And then when the doctor told us that there was 500 ml of liquid, yeah, see? Told you, this is why. So he removed, yeah, all the liquid, the one big blob, a few small blobs, and here's the thing, right? It's an ovarian cyst. The reason why this came back was because like the previous time I got rid of one ovary, I still had the other one, right? So the cyst, this time, obviously at the left side. Okay. I don't know why the recording just stopped, because it's not like there was no more space. Okay, as I was saying, so going in this time, there was the question of, do we remove the ovary or not? Right? I only had one left, because we removed the other one completely. And initially I was like, yes, please, just get rid of it. I don't want children. Just get rid of it. This means I don't have to have any more periods. But removing the ovary comes with a host of other problems, like hormone imbalances and a problem with bone density. So I'm like, ah, shit. Because I mean, seriously, if it wasn't for these things, that ovary would have been gone so fast. Because when I was talking to an ex-student, hi Dorothy, about this, she was like, are you gonna take out this ovary as well? I was like, well, I guess we're gonna try not to. And she's like, how many times are you gonna kena this before you rage quit? I'm like, I know, right? I mean, I would love to rage quit like right now. But partially because, you know, my mother is still holding out hope for me to have children. Even though that likelihood is incredibly low right now. Because before I did top, we did do a blood test for like the egg count situation, thingy-majiggy, don't ask me things. And it was very, very low already. So, you know, my initial going into this was like, okay, fine, if we can save it, we'll save it. But then, if this happens one more time, third time, 3 strikes, you're out. Okay, so that was my initial thoughts, and I mean, those were my thoughts before knowing about this bone density hormone replacement issue. But after talking to the doctor and finding out that there's all of these problems, you're like, oh crap. Fine. Try and save the thing. And so, all that is to say is that I now have 25% of ovary. Just in general as a human being, because, you know, women have 2 ovaries to begin with. I now have 25% of that, meaning I have half an ovary. And I mean, while yes, I am thankful that it works. I know this because I did get my period, TMI, but we've gone past that. So I know that it works, meaning that or at least fingers crossed, meaning that I don't have to go on HRT. It is still kind of annoying that I have 25% the amount of ovary and yet will still have 100% of the periods. So yeah, I think that's it. Lord knows I have been recording for like half an hour already. I don't actually know how long this video is going to end up being. I mean, obviously there's going to be some cuts, but I can't imagine I'm actually going to cut that much. I probably should. So yeah, this is the end, I hope. I mean, yeah, it should be the end of Cyst Wars Episode 2, The Lump Strikes Back. I really hope this saga gets cancelled before we come to a trilogy. That's all I can say. George Lucas, please don't sue me.